everyone, and welcome back to another Mindful Manis and Chats video. Today I'm going to be sharing the brand new Holo Taco Declassified collection. While it did release last week, I did receive this collection in PR. It came in a little late and I was finishing up my finals. So here we are with the collection review video a week later than it was supposed to come out, but I figured it would be okay because these polishes, while they are seasonal, are supposed to be in stock for at least a little while. So fingers crossed. I believe Christine said that they would get restocked at least one more time in December, but I could be wrong. Regardless, I feel like we should just get right into it. This collection consists of 4 polishes. We have a creme, a flaky balm, a shimmer, and a glitter. And apart from that, while it was not technically included in the collection itself, they did also release a holographic magnetic topper in one of their promotions, so I am including that in today's video as well. So stay tuned if you want comparisons to other shades I have in my collection, as well as a full swatch and review. Before we get started, I did just want to also mention, and I did also just want to explain a little bit about the Declassified collection from Holo Taco, what it entails usually. So if we're being specific, this is Declassified 003 because they first started it 2 years ago. I guess this is their 3rd year doing it. And it's essentially prototypes that were made for previous collections throughout the year, and they were not selected for their respective collections. However, they were essentially too beautiful to pass up, so they get pushed back to the Declassified collection at the end of the year. So these are essentially unreleased prototypes, and for that reason, I think that is so fun, and it is honestly my most anticipated collection of the year, just seeing like what could have been. Essentially, it's so fun, and like I said, it is a seasonal collection that they have each year. Usually they get brought back every year, and I'm assuming they're doing the same thing for this collection go round. Usually we have very interesting polishes, and I think that does qualify this collection. However, we do have a cream this time around, which I was very surprised by, because usually these polishes are a little bit more interesting. No offense to the cream lovers out there, but nice flaky bombs like Steak Kelp that we have in this collection, that's what I kind of imagine is fit for the Declassified collection. So a cream, I don't know how I feel about that, but I guess let's just get started with the swatches. First up, we have Steak Kelp. This one is a prototype from the Off the Deep End collection, which released this year in, I think, May or so, and it's described as a deep teal jelly with multicolored iridescent flakes. And I will say, y'all, I am so sorry for this horrible angle. You can barely see me swatching the polish. I think it's because I just got a new phone, so I'm still trying to get used to it and figuring out my swatch setup with it. Don't ask why. Just getting a new phone is throwing me off so bad. I don't know. But regardless, this polish was one that I was really hoping would be in the Declassified collection because I saw the prototype for it for Off the Deep End, and honestly, when I saw it originally, I thought it would be more of a seaweed color, but it reads very blue, especially in person, so I was a little bit disappointed. I wished it leaned a little bit more green, but it's still very cool and probably my favorite one from this collection. Next up, we have Waterworks. This one is described as a turquoise blue holographic glitter formula in an aqua teal jelly base. This one actually originated in the Holo Royalty Shimmering Secrets set from 2024. So this is the only polish in this collection that was actually coming from a collection not this year. So I thought that was pretty cool, and we end up having 2 from Holo Royalty collections because of course that one is voted into existence by Holo Taco's loyalty members, so those votes sometimes come pretty close. So we have a couple options, and this was one of the options that did not make it through. This one I feel like it has a very similar formula to Holo Taco's Bless Your Heart, so if you're familiar with that one, this one applies very similarly to it, and that's why I went in with a thicker coat towards the end, because my coats were just kind of weird. So this is what I feel like it looks like in 3 good thick coats, and I'm pretty happy with it. It's very sparkly. Following that up, we have Cool Ranch. This one is described as a mauve brown jelly with iridescent cyan blue micro shimmer, and it originated in Holo Taco's Royalty Disco Cowboy collection earlier this year. And can I just say for a second, I really do not like the name of this polish. What does Cool Ranch have to do with a brown nail polish? And can I talk about that for a second, because this polish is not mauve in the slightest. You'll see it after I build it up in 3 coats, but it made me feel like I was going crazy, and I went online to look up what mauve is, and I could not find a single image that represented this polish. But it just is more of a brown, like it's just brown. There's nothing mauve about it, at least in my experience. Of course there could be batch issues, etc., but I really just saw this as brown, not mauve at all. And the Cool Ranch thing, I really can only think of Doritos. Am I the only one? Because what does this have to do with Doritos? Like, guys, I am truly confused. I don't know what's going on. I just know that Prugly lovers are probably obsessed with this polish. I personally am just very confused. I don't know what's going on, but the shimmer is really nice. You guys know I love a shimmer, so I really can't complain too much. It's very nice in the light, and I like the extra little holographic. Alright, now that I'm off my soapbox, let's get into Well Wishes, which came from the Cottagecore collection from Holo Taco earlier this year. It is described as a muted gray periwinkle cream, but it is very gray leaning, which is why this polish is not going to be my favorite in this collection. Especially purple leaning grays is just not my thing, but I do think this polish is pretty unique. I think a lot of people were comparing it to other Holo Taco purples, but absolutely not. If anything, it leans more to duct tape gray or like cold slate from Holo Taco. Definitely not the purple creams like Resting Witch Face or Lavender or anything like that. But that's just my opinion. Maybe, you know, batch issues and whatnot, but this one definitely leans a lot more gray than it does purple. But it was a nice, easy 2-coater, very nice cream formula, so I can't complain. Alright, last but not least, we will mention the new Holo Magnetic Taco. This one is very high quality in my opinion. I don't have any other holographic magnetic toppers, but the pigment in this one seems to be top notch. And I will say that this polish definitely looks better over darker colors, which you'll see later when I do my comparisons. However, the dispersion of the magnetic particles I feel like is a lot more noticeable. However, I really enjoy that aspect about it. Like, if we're going to shove a bunch of holographic in my magnetic polishes, then might as well be able to see all the holographic pigment and not just clustered all on the same line. But that's just my opinion. I know some people really like a tight cat eye, but I really liked the vibe. It looks like cosmic almost. I don't know, just let me know what you guys think. You can kind of see the different particles all over the nail if you look closely, but overall I was very, very happy with it. Alright, now let's get into comparisons. First up, I just tried to recreate Seek Kelp the best I could. I put Holo Taco's Wait a Minute over their Bring Me the Teal, but as you can see, the Wait a Minute definitely needed to be built up a lot more just because of the depth of the flakies in Seek Kelp. It may be a darker base color, but I thought I could recreate it very easily, but obviously not, so pretty unique in my opinion. Next up, I have some few comparisons for the new glitter waterworks, and that one proved to be more difficult to do, but it does lean very teal, and I don't have a lot of other teal glittery polishes, so I just tried to share some other blue leaning polishes that I have, but none of them came quite close. Maybe in tone, Be Kind Rewind, but waterworks is definitely a lot darker, so definitely not a dupe. Now, I did try my best to dupe out Cool Ranch by Holo Taco. I compared it to Polish for Days Grave Consequences, but Grave Consequences definitely has much of a more red, warm-leaning base, but the shimmer I feel is pretty similar. And then I tried to dupe it out by layering Cert Colors Cocoa Jelly with a scattered holographic top coat and BKL Love is the Most Powerful Magic on top, but the BKL Shimmer Topper is definitely a lot more blue-purple leaning instead of that teal, almost green leaning that Cool Ranch has. But overall, I feel like it has the same vibe, but not exactly the same effects going into it. And trying to find something similar to Well Wishes was hard because it does lean so gray. I mean, putting up to these other purples, it does just look so gray. But I actually did include a periwinkle in there, which is Essie's Bikini So Teeny, which is almost a dupe for Holo Taco's Bet Bet Blue. So it's essentially kind of a 2-in-1. But Well Wishes, as you can see, leans a lot more gray. Island Peace High Dive also is too vibrant. Next up, we have the comparison for the new topper, and of course I had to compare it to Holo Taco's magnetic top coat that they released in their Bon Voyage collection earlier this year as well. As you can see, the dispersion on the left is a lot more, and these were painted at the same time with the same, thickness and everything. But like I said, mentioned earlier, that I really do like the great dispersion in the holographic one. Okay, so now that we've seen all the comparisons and all the swatches, let me know what you guys think of this collection. It's been out for about a week now, so some of you might have even already purchased the collection. Let me know what you thought if you have been able to try these out in person. I personally really liked Seek Kelp. I thought that polish was so fun. Even though it might not be what I expected it to be, I still think it came out super cool. And then Well Wishes, honestly, was a little bit of a letdown. I don't really like gray polishes, especially not purple bleeding gray polishes, so that one was just never really gonna sit right with me. However, the formula on it was very nice, so if it is a color that you are interested in, I would recommend it. I also just want to mention that Holo Taco has been having a lot of bigger collections released this year, so I really do appreciate the smaller collection. I guess it's kind of like a 5-piece collection if you include the holographic magnetic topper, but on its own, the Declassified is only 4 polishes, and I do really value the smaller collections from time to time, especially with how many polishes released this year. I don't have an exact number, but I'm just thinking about the advent calendar and like all of the 6-piece collections we got, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, that was a lot of polishes. So I'm really appreciating the little 4-piece collection as well. Also, side notes, now that we're at the end of the video, I did get a new phone. I'm now filming on an iPhone 16e. Before it was an iPhone 11, if you're curious at all. But I'm still getting used to it. I just got it a couple days ago. So let me know if anything looks weird or sounds weird, and I can try to fix it in the next video. But regardless, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye!